Chief Robinson and his family have also received letters of appreciation from the President of the United States as well as former President Bush. Airman Taylor, please come forward. Chief, please stand center stage.
Over the last 30 years, as storm clouds of war swept across our great nation, as others retreated from duty, honor, and country, this airman stood the watch. While some were tucked comfortably in their warm beds at night, this airman stood the watch. While some were in school learning their trade, this airman stood the watch. Sacrificing birthdays, holidays, and family, this airman stood the watch. He stood the watch for you and me, so our families and countrymen could live in safety, enjoying the land of the free. Chief Robinson, know that the freedoms you staunchly guarded are protected and remain secure and safe in the hands of those you trained, mentored, and led. After over 30 years of loyal service, Chief, your watch stands relieved. We have the watch.
For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. Blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom, inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the Stars and Stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the thin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our U.S. Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans have spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. We now have a couple informal presentations to make to Chief Robinson. Chief Master Sergeant Hanson, Davis-Monthan Chiefs Group, please come forward.
On behalf of the Chiefs Group, I just want to say thank you for your friendship and the fellow Chiefs. You've been a great friend and mentor. Your trail has ended as active duty, but you're always a Chief, and you're always welcome to the Chiefs Group. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've done as a collective whole, and wish you all the best in retirement.
Chief Master Sergeant Franklin and the rescue chiefs, will you please come forward?
We've got the rescue chiefs past and present here joining me today. And I got to say, this is a great day for DM and the Air Force to see Chief Robinson retire. But, you know, that was meant in seriousness because absolutely dedicated and driven to the very end. Making mission happen, leading airmen, executing the most noblest mission, as Colonel Buck said, to the very end. And what a perfect example. And Airman Taylor out there, I got to tell you, we share a common mentor. And even us old chiefs need an older chief to look up to and emulate. And we all thank you for being a friend, being a mentor, being the example. So thank you very much. For that, the rescue chiefs, we have a little something to warm the cool Arizona evenings. And some wrenches. Thank you.
And finally, on behalf of the entire squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Buck will now present Chief Robinson his retirement shadow box. The tradition of presenting the shadow box to a retiring military member is born of an early Navy custom. It was considered bad luck for a sailor upon his final departure from a ship to allow his shadow to hit the pier before he himself departed the ship. In order to ensure no such misfortune would befall their shipmate, the crew would construct a box of the finest timber and place within it all things which reflected his accomplishments. Only then could the sailor, with the shadow of himself in hand, safely depart the ship and go ashore once and for all. Inside the box is the military member's most prized possession, the United States flag. Blair, will you please come forward?
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable but in the end is right. And I hope you had the time of your life. Take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth it all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. And I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end is right. And I hope you had the time of your life.
Blair, that was awesome. Thank you. Chief, you ready? Sorry, Chief. You waited 30 years to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Chief Master Sergeant David L. Robinson, U.S. Air Force, retired.
Spin a little bit here. Wow, it's definitely surreal, this moment. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. This is truly an unbelievable event. It's an honor to have all of you here today. Right up front, please forgive me, I'm going to be reading a lot of this because, as you see, the tissues sitting here on the stage, I've got a bet with several people that I won't break down and cry. And I think Chief Nair is going to take my man card if I do. So I'm gonna see what we can do here. This is an emotional event for me and my family. For those of you that are retired, you know exactly what I mean. But for those of you that haven't retired yet, it's going to come faster than you know. I've had 5 friends retire already this year, and one of the things that we've talked about and we all agree on is that these ceremonies, they aren't just about us. This is about you. This is about our force. It's about our culture. The profession of arms and the customs and courtesies. This is what makes us unique. Today is a celebration, like I said, not of me, but of our military traditions, one of the most longed-for tradition of retirement. And to that, I want to lead off with a huge thank you to the men and women who put this event together. Sergeant Smith, Sergeant Klimish, Airman Marion, Airman West, Taylor, men and women of the 55th and the 79th for putting these statics together. I greatly appreciate this. It's a first-class operation. I thank you. It's going to be difficult to surmise 30 years in 7 to 10 minutes, but I'll give it my best. As I was putting the words down on paper, I was reminded of a speech by... Thank you, Colonel. I appreciate that. I was reminded of a speech by former Governor Swanson of Virginia. And after a long and rambling speech, a woman came up and introduced himself, and he said, "What'd you think of the speech?" And she thought, "Well, it was good, but I thought you missed a few excellent opportunities." He said, "Well, excellent opportunities for what?" She said, "Well, to shut up." So we'll see what we can do. I definitely I would like to stand here and thank every member that's here today, but I can't. Obviously, we've got a lot of things to do. We've got the mission that continues to go on. But I would like to single out a few individuals. And if I've missed you, I apologize for that, but we just don't have the time to mention everybody. A good friend of mine, former head of security for Air Force One, used to say, keep track of the moments in your life, because eventually they're all going to merge together and you're going to lose track of the time. And I have to say, it's happened. Everything is merged together so compact. About a year ago, I took over the 923rd. We had grand ideas how we're going to push our airmen to be bigger, faster, stronger, smarter. Our goal, Colonel Buck, and I appreciate that, was to help the families and to help the airmen. I think we've done a pretty good job at that. Together with one of the best leadership teams that I've ever known, Colonel Buck, Sergeant Smith, Major Thomas, Captain Barnett, we work very, very hard to make sure that our airmen don't know that we're working very, very hard. The motto here, these things we do that others may live, it truly is a very, very noble operation. And I would have it no other way, Colonel. You are right. This is the best assignment I could have ever had. And I've had some pretty darn good ones, so I appreciate that. These things we do, Colonel Gashard, your team, 63rd, we provide these platforms for you to go out there and kill the bad guys and save the good guys. And it's the rescue team that means the world to me. About a year ago, I PCS'd to Davis-Monthan, take over the 79th as we transition from the legacy P model aircraft to the beautiful J model you see today. To say it was a challenge would be an understatement. The men and women of the 923rd came through in the clutch, though. It was the work between the 88th Test Squadron and the 79th that really made it all possible. About a year ago, I received a phone call from my former commander, Colonel Paul Filchak, and he said, "Congratulations." I said, "On what?" He said, "On making chief." I said, "I didn't make chief." He convinced me that I had, and I thought, wow, I'm not sure how that's possible. In the PAG, we'd never produced a maintenance chief before, so it was something that was completely unexpected. I'd planned on retiring as a senior, blessed that I had made it that far. So when I made chief, I talked to my wife of just a little over a year, and I said, "I'm not going to take it. I'm going to turn down the stripe." And she said, "Oh, no, you're not." She says, "You've worked your entire career for this, to be a chief." But in reality, I really hadn't. I hadn't worked my entire career to become a chief. I became a chief because I worked my entire career. It was the leaders around me that helped me become a chief. Master Sergeant Kevin Daniel, Chief David Carruthers, Colonel Paul Filchak, Colonel Mark Tillman, they're the reason, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. About a year ago, I had the opportunity of a lifetime, really, to join the Presidential Pilot's Office. As Colonel Buck mentioned, that's where I spent the majority of my career. 17 years is a long time to be in one location. You know, I had the opportunity to be witness to some amazing events. Colonel, as you mentioned, President Ford and President Reagan's funerals, the Pope, the four former presidents flying on the aircraft for the only time ever. It was truly an honor to be part of that. About a year ago, my mother made a decision that would affect my whole life. After having raised 5 children as a single mother, she decided to give up her amazing career and take a well-deserved break, setting forth a series of decisions that led me to where I am today. About a year ago, I raised my right hand. I swore to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I cherish every minute from that day to this as a life served with meaning and purpose, with great friends and family. Philippians chapter 1, verse 3. Paul says, "I give thanks to my God at every remembrance of you." I live that passage every single day. I thank God for every remembrance of you. Mom, whether I was right or I was wrong, you supported me every step of the journey. You were armed with the hammer when I needed to be hit, and you were armed with the sympathetic shoulder when I needed your empathy. Thank you for everything. Floyd and Don, you were the driving force behind me joining the Air Force. You were the motivators to me, and I thank you for serving our country. About a year ago, my friend Chip and I, we played Pee-wee football together. You know, it's impossible to forget some of those old friends of ours, Augie and Kurt, Andre. But I have to be honest, it was from those days, the thing that meant the most to me were your parents. Your parents were there for me as a second family, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without you, and I thank you for that. And to my friend Kelly, one of the most fun-loving, light-hearted adults I've ever known. I hate you for that, but I'm trying to be lighthearted. I'm trying to relax and let my guard down. Thank you for being a dear friend. Chief Nair, Albert, brother, you're everything it means to be a chief. Even in retirement, you're still there for our airmen, and that can't be overstated. I've never seen a chief take the time that you take one-on-one with our airmen. It truly is an inspiration. You are a good friend and a mentor. Colonel Bach and Sergeant Smith, I could actually be up here all day to talk about those two. One of the best commanders I've ever known, most compassionate, caring. He and Sergeant Smith tackle some amazing things together, all for the men and women of the 923rd, to take care of our airmen, because that's what they're charged to do. You know, something, sir, you can't teach that. You have to have it. It's that give a shit factor. And you both have it in spades. To my 355th brethren, Colonel Meager, Chief Ravelin, Colonel Howard, thank you for everything that you do. Chief Petrovic, the team. We couldn't do what we do without the 355th. Colonel Meager, I can't thank you for your leadership and insight enough. You've been here a very long time, and I'm proud to have served here with you. You were there when we needed your support, and you were there when we needed to be fussed at a little bit, and I thank you for that. All right. My fellow chiefs, I can't thank you enough. You lead our airmen each and every day. You are incredible. It's been a pleasure to sit beside you in the ALS and the NCO professional enhancement seminars, to tip adult beverages with you at the Chiefs group meetings. You truly are the 1%. A few others, Matt, Ray, thank you for your friendship. A man couldn't ask for two greater friends than you. You've been there every step of the way with me, and I thank you for that. Ellen couldn't make it. The men and women of the 923rd, this is truly an honor, and words can't express my gratitude to you. I've been a part of some amazing units throughout my career, but none can hold a candle to you. You execute your mission every day without fail, with unmatched pride and professionalism. It never ceases to amaze me that the Caesar idea of a good time is to go to a bear-based location in the middle of nowhere and stand guard, ready to do their job. Men and women of the 923rd, you provide the platform for that combat search and rescue we've all spoke of today. It's your day-to-day commitment that gives our pilots the comfort in the fact that we exist as their insurance policy. For on that isolated personnel's worst day, you will be there for them without fail. I'm not sure I'm going to wake up Monday morning and not do what I do, because this is what I know, this is what I love. But I do know that I'll wake up resting comfortably in the fact that men and women of the 23rd are going to continue to provide that combat search and rescue that we so need. I once heard the definition of hell is on your last day on earth, the person you became meets the person you could have been. My friends, I've been this for a very long time, but this isn't all that I am. I actually look forward to taking off this uniform and spending time with my beautiful wife and my amazing children. You put up with the midnight phone calls, the missed anniversaries, birthdays, and the stress-filled nights where I just couldn't leave my work at work. I love you all very much. Amy, you are my rock and my confidant. We fought and loved, and we've loved to fight. I look forward to the next chapter in our lives together. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for making this day so incredibly special for my family. It will never be forgotten. Good day, and God bless.
All right, please rise for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.